Hello my angels and devils and all who may want to hear. It is Amanda Christina and I have a tutorial for you. Yay! Now I showed this in my Vlogmas previews, but unfortunately I didn't get to it, so we're going to do one for Valentine's Day instead. This, because it can be done for any occasion. This is one of the first things I taught myself how to make. I designed this way back over 10 years ago when I first started paper crafting. I didn't have a lot of stuff. I didn't have a die cutting machine, and I will show you what I used in a minute, but this is just a little file folder album. You literally only need 3 different file folders to chase around. So this is what I did for Christmas. This will go in my Christmas in July box now because I didn't get to... Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll just pop that thought to one side for a minute. Now, I know Roxy or Roxanne was really interested in this one, so that is why I am making sure not to hold off on doing this one because I knew there was a couple of people interested. Now, all you need literally is 3 of these. So you need them. These are plastic ones. I picked up cheap. Like you can see, they've been around for a while. What you need is to have 1 on each. So you need to have it so that you have those 3 because that middle one doesn't hinge, but you want to hinge the others. Now, the other thing you can do is create a template and just trace the template, but I find it really easy just to do this. So what I do is I start by just picking a spot. I try not to waste much cardstock. Actually, what I usually do is just do that as close to the edge as I can so that I have a nice way to line it up. So as long as it's on the edge. And then what I do is I trace and then I use that line at the end to then line up the next one. So what you're going to do is, okay, so this one had your A showing. What you're going to do for this one is you're going to flip it so that your A is at the other end. And the reason you want it at the opposite end is because when you fold this up, you want it to close with each end covered. So if you don't put it at the opposite end, what happens... Oops, I think I'm slightly out there. Let's see if I can fix that just a little bit better. Just trying to get my... I think it should be okay. It's only a little bit out. Okay, so that's your first one. Then what you're going to do, you're going to repeat the process with the second one. So I just usually try and line these up with an edge just to make it a little bit less work, really. And this is honestly the hardest thing you're going to have to do. Okay. So see, this one's down that end. So when we flip this over, you don't want to flip it so that this is that way because then your flap's in the same spot. You want to make sure you flip it so that you have both pieces this way. So basically that is as hard as it gets. And seriously, you could use these 2 pieces you've just made as templates. Now you can do this in a bigger size. I have bigger size plastic ones of these. I like this size for mailing. I just think it's super cute. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to do the same thing, but you're only going to do one of the C, so you don't need to flip it over. And pretty economical because we did not even use a whole sheet of cardstock. You're going to have plenty of offcuts for other things. So next thing I'm going to do is grab a pair of scissors and I'm just going to gently cut all of these out. Now if you have a scoreboard, I didn't bring mine out, but if you have a scoreboard you can easily just run that line in the center through the scoreboard. I don't do that. I mean, I do if I have it on hand, but honestly it really is not necessary. So now I'm just going to hopefully I took my time enough as to not get this super wonky, because that would be kind of embarrassing, but that's okay. I'm not too stressed about that. Okay, I think I got that bit a little wonky. Okay, and then now this isn't one where I prepped and cut out earlier, so you're just going to have to bear with me while I cut these 3 pieces out. And this is the really good thing. It is literally just 3 pieces. It is not a great deal. Okay, we have that. Then I'm just going to cut across the bottom here. And then we go. So this is our centerpiece. I'm just sort of trying to cut off some of the pencil marks because I didn't bring an eraser out. That simple. Okay, so we have that, and then we've just got 2 more cuts. As you can see, we're at 6 minutes, and we already have the basis of our little album done. And the good thing about this is, one, you can do it in different sizes. If you weren't confident in doing this, you could do your individual pieces and then just put washi tape across the bottoms on both sides. But honestly, this is not hard. This is something, and you know, it's one of those things that I put in the realms of economical crafts. It's something that you can create super easily for not much money. This cardstock, I think, is cheap cardstock I got somewhere. But it's pretty and it's pink, and I just thought that fit with Valentine's Day, although I think I only have red ribbon out here, but that'll work. It'll work with the paper range that we're going to use. Okay, so now what you do is you, depending on which way you want to fold it, you line your bits up here, make sure it's nice and as even as possible, and then we just go along here. If you don't have a bone folder, honestly, I just run my finger along it when I don't know where my bone folders are, which honestly is more often than you would think with me. I own some bone folders from the We Are Memory Keepers punch boards and an actual bone and 2 other bone folders. Can I ever find them when I need them? Pretty much no. So this is the leftovers. So as you can see, you can do a bit with those leftovers. These bits are really good for die cutting words with. So as I said, this is pretty economical in terms of what you are going to use up. And then we go and do the same thing with this one. Just sort of. Now I did cut this in a little bit of a hurry, so it may not match up 100% perfectly. But that is also the thing, like when you're doing something homemade, I just think that it shouldn't have to always be super perfect. So as you see, we've got our complete little file book. Pretty cute, huh? And then we just decorate it. So what I'm going to show you is how I put the ribbons in, because that is kind of important. Now I have this ribbon, and oh yes I do, thank goodness, I do have a lighter near me. So as you know, I always heat my ribbon, and the reason you do this is to stop the ends fraying. So I've got this really nice sort of pinky burgundy, so I think that'll be really nice for this one. So I just got to figure out how much I need. Okay. Actually thinking if I cut that in half, because it's not a great deal, it should be, yep, it should be enough. So I'm going to just chop this one in half. And then I'm going to light the ends on fire. No, just melt the ends a little so that they don't fray. This is really good for something like this where you're going to be undoing and doing them up again, because basically it means they're not going to fray. Okay, so we have that. Something I forgot to put back up on my shelf. Not helpful. Flashes of lightning, you know, all the fun stuff at the moment. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your outer one, And your outer one, you know, because it's your bits on the end. And we're going to put, because this is double-sided ribbon, we're going to put a piece of ribbon here and a piece of ribbon here, so that when you want to close it, you have your ties. Now, you can also do this actually on the inside. Sometimes it pulls in, so what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to do the ribbon on the outside. You can do it however you want. It is totally up to you. If you want to glue this down, you can. I find sometimes glue goes through my ribbon, and I really don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the look of glue seeping through my ribbon, so I'm a little bit fussy on that. But we're going to do these on the outside instead of the inside, just because, well, you can do either way, honestly, but I just think sometimes outside, like I do think sometimes these sort of pull in and push the inside bits out a bit. So rather than having that issue, we'll do it on the outside, which is what I meant to the first time, but I kind of got to decorating and, well, I forgot. Okay. I make mistakes too. So what I do is I usually just go and find roughly the center of the ribbon, roughly the center of my project, and just try and get that as neat as possible. So I think that burgundy looks really good with the pink, actually. That's a pleasant surprise. I was just going with what I had here, really. Let's be honest, sometimes you just got to work with what you have on hand. And then what I try and do is just make sure they sort of line up at the ends. It doesn't really matter if one is a bit longer than the other, because, oops, except it does matter if you completely miss the tape. That's not supposed to happen. Let's see if I can... Oh no. Oh, I completely missed the tape. Oh my god. Thank god we are covering over this, but still. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. We'll just do this piece of tape again. Why is it you can do something a million times and the moment you are on camera, it goes haywire? Every time. At least, as someone said, I know that other people make mistakes too. We sure do. No crafter ever doesn't make mistakes. We all do. As you know, mistakes are just a reason to add extra embellishments, and we're going to be covering this over anyway. I haven't inked this yet. What I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a little bit of glue too, is fold this in half, because this is the first thing we're going to do. Is we're going to, oh, do I have a slightly bigger one? I might have something a little bit bigger. Oh no, that does look kind of cute coming out from the doily. Let me have a look. I have this whole bag of paper doilies here that I've been collecting over the years. There's another project I've been working on. A doily pocket, a doily heart, a heart doily pocket. That's the word. I'll eventually get the right words. I always do. Okay, so because this is Valentine's Day, no, that's too big. Well, that's sad. When you're trying to do something and then it ends up too big, too small, too big. Oh no, that's really good. That's really nice. Okay, we'll use that one. So I'm going to keep this one fairly simple. I'm not going to worry about the inking and stuff. But what I do is here, I pop some... But, you know, the inking on the craft I really loved, and inking around the edges is just a really nice thing. If you're going to do it on these, do it before you do your ribbon. That is my one thing. Make sure you ink before you do your ribbon, people. Okay. I swear, this heat and this infection together. Brutal, but I am getting better. I am slowly getting better, so I will take improvement over not getting better any day. So I am just literally, oops, popping those up, and then I will add just a smidge of glue. That looks, I actually think that, yeah, you can see I didn't get those quite lined up. So what I would suggest is closing it over and making sure you get those lined up. It's not a huge deal, but it's little things that make things look better. And, you know, if you can do it, do it. It does, as I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. I would personally prefer that to be a little more lined up, but, you know, it's done now, and as you saw, this tape is crazy strong. So what I did is basically I used doilies to start my decorations because I thought that was super cute. And see, that was a nice big one, so it came up over both sides. I just added a smidge of glue just to hold the other ends down. So that's super cute. And then we're going to use one on... I'm going to use a super small one on this because we're only... But basically, I don't know why I got into the doilies for this. I just thought it was really nice. I just thought it was a nice thing. Now, if you want to add one doily higher on one side and lower on the other, you can do that. Like, you've got options. And that was the other thing I really liked, was that it gave you a way to use doilies. Because let's face it, a lot of us have loads of doilies in our stash. I just found the most beautiful, huge gold and silver ones that I don't know what to do with because they're, as I said, they're huge. They're almost the size, like, yeah, they're almost the size of a 12 by 12 piece of paper, at least the height. So again, we just pop this down in the center. We're just going to try and line it up a bit. Push down, fold over, and then we're just going to add a little bit of glue to a couple of the spots just to make sure it stays in place. That is honestly all the glue is for, is just a little tiny bit of glue to hold it in place in the places where it may not stick. Sorry, I shouldn't have that in there. So we do it on this side, and we just take a little glue, 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 glue. And a little scatty. I had to leave a Twitch stream that I was really enjoying, especially because I left it while they were playing A Part of Your World, which is one of my all-time favourite Disney songs and was probably one of the hardest things I've had to do in a long time, just because I wanted to get some videos made for my channel, and I didn't want it to get too much later before I did so. Okay, I think this is the other one I had. I think I want to use another one of the buttony ones, because that seems to be the, yeah, I seem to have used the buttony ones on all of them, so on the first two, so I'm going to use the buttony one on this one. Now this one, I think what I'll do is I'll pop that up just a bit higher and have that come in a little bit more at the back, so like that. Ink these up, play with this. Like, I really had fun creating the Christmas version of this. I loved it. It doesn't take a lot of paper. I used stamps that are in my stash. See, what I will do with this one is probably do friendship quotes. That one has a lot of inspirational type quotes, or, yeah, because I didn't pull out my Christmas stamps, I don't think. Or I did, but I didn't find as many Christmas sentiments as I thought I did own, which was quite shocking, really. Which means they're probably in my buckets of stuff that need to be sorted, which is going to be a nightmare. My goal this week, however, when it comes to sorting, is to sort my ribbons and laces so that I can get back and, like, because there's containers of stuff that shouldn't be containers of stuff, simply for the fact that if I'd put the stuff away or hadn't, I sort of pull stuff out to do things with and then don't always get to put it back, or create another thing for what I'm working on and then forget to put things back. So I need to get on top of that because I want to actually reopen my Etsy store at some point this year. I'm hoping for February or March, maybe. And I say maybe in big inverted commas because I don't know that I'm going to be able to do a February or March release. So then, so you've got your three, which come together like this. How long is this already? Oh, this is nearly 20 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I know some people like the super long videos, but you've got the basics of what to do. You know, then you just go through and you decorate it however you want. I used ephemera and really nice little quotes, stuff from my Christmas stash, which I actually have quite a lovely stash of Christmas craft stuff, which is amazing. It's the only one, Christmas is the only one I have a decent stash of stuff for. Easter, everything else is just nope. Even Valentine's Day, I was shocked that I didn't have more. I have like a whole lot of hearts and stuff cut out. But yeah, so this, I'm going to take off and do this on my own because honestly, as much as I would like to show you the process, I'm not up for spending 3 hours, 3 to 6 hours, actually, usually about 12 to upload a video. So then you go, so you get that nice, yeah, it is definitely a bit nicer on the outside. Now, I probably could have done this side a little tighter. I'm all thumbs tonight, I swear. Okay, so then you just make sure it's all, whoops, all pushed in, and you've got this really cute little thing that you can decorate and send. The best thing about this is one of the ones that is part of my can be sent in a regular envelope as a card or letter type mail, and I love that. That, for me, honestly, these kind of things, they don't take super long to make. Well, actually, that one took me a while, and this one probably will when it comes to decorating and putting the bits in. But overall, these don't take a great deal of time to make. You could sit down and do a bulk batch of these ready to go out as happy mail, as friend mail. They would fit really nicely in like a little, like this loaded pocket's a little small though. But they would fit really nicely in a loaded pocket actually, depending on what you were doing. They would fit lovely. Look at that. See, that fits in a loaded pocket really nice. I've got to fix that bit up. But yeah, so this loaded pocket is a bit small for it, but you get what I mean. Like, they would fit nicely in a loaded pocket. This was my first attempt at this one. I'm not sure how I feel about it. A friend and I are going to do a swap, and this is Donna Salazar paper, so I sort of did some tags in her. Made with love, thanks for being here. Just different, yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other video. Anyway, remember, as always, you are amazing, you are incredible, and you truly do matter. If you make any of these, tag at Heavenly Imaginings on Instagram, at Heavenly Imagine on Twitter. Yeah, I was going to say that right then. Or even just post a picture on my Facebook page. Let me know if you make any of these things, because I'd really love to see. I'm thinking that this would be a really good swap or like challenge idea for something just a little bit different. Anyway, I've rabbited on for 22 minutes. Takes a breath. Okay. As I said, remember, as always, you are incredible, you are amazing, and most importantly of all, you truly do matter. Until next I see you, I will talk to you soon, my angels and devils. Bye!